So we're obviously going to see Oliver in this new role as mayor.
Yes.
You guys are sort of back together, but not in the way that everybody thought maybe it would end up. What's that relationship going to start off like on this new season?
It definitely becomes, I do believe that their communication is getting better. And I think that has a lot to do with them being in a new type of relationship, past, the breakup and having to work together and having a common goal and, trying to decide things and trying to improve, the city, and not only that, themselves and their relationship. So it's interesting, like how we left off of the bunker being destroyed and then both just standing strong in a place that they have, inevitably destroyed themselves, and how their relationship had also kind of been destroyed and broken, and how they had done that to themselves, and they're both still standing strong. I think was a really good example about where they're going to go, because they end up staying in it and they clean it up and they start, moving around each other, obviously in a different way, but their dance will be a little different. But I think it's growing.
Is there still kind of that ongoing element of not being able to fully trust one another?
I feel like they have trust.
Yeah.
I feel like they want to think the best of one another, and that can sometimes be a problem. Because you end up finding out, how much your boundaries move. And I think they're both very strong-willed, and they both have very strong boundaries. And it's trying to figure out like where they can let each other back in. So I don't know if it's their trust about, they both trust that they would save each other's lives, but do they trust each other with their emotions and their heart? And that's different.
Yeah.
So Felicity kind of lost her job at the end of last season. What's she
Yes.
going to be doing publicly?
Well, so she owns the company.
Okay.
Right? Because Ray signed it over to her, and then she tried to give it back to Ray, and he didn't want it. And so she was CEO of a company and got fired from being CEO. And correct me if I'm wrong, I've never been CEO. I believe that is possible, but she probably still owns the company. So in terms of day job, we haven't really seen much of that.
Now that I feel kind of feels a little bit about being Mr. Fantastic, how does Felicity fit into that? And what does she think about that? And does she kind of help him being someone who knows the superhero world a little bit better?
How does she sort of like break him in or ease him into that? Well, I think like when Curtis came to Felicity and Oliver being like, hey, maybe I could be a part of this, because that's easily what he did when he came into the lair last season. And he's like, I don't want to be any part of this. I don't want to do this. But this idea of him becoming Mr. Terrific is awesome. He is going to get a suit. But it's sort of him sort of balancing out and like finding out what he can do. Because you don't go from like 0 to 100 to being a superhero. You need training, and you gotta, he might have the drive and the goal to go towards it, but you have to have the technical training, and it can't all just be hard, because then you will end up dying.
Do you get to do any stunts season 5?
I haven't yet. No, I just try to get it out in my real life. Just try to box, jump off buildings.
You hope for more?
I hope for more? I mean, yeah, absolutely. I don't necessarily know if Felicity hopes for more. I don't think that she does, and I have to be respectful of that. I like being active. I'm very physical, so obviously I can be selfish and say that, but she is not, so I can't really push her to go do that, mostly because she hasn't met me.